We're just about to go and pick up Jimmy. So we are on our way to MICE. Now, if you're not aware of what that is, Melbourne International Coffee Expo. So it's definitely the biggest one of the year, and we're on our way down there, and we're going to share it with you over the next couple of days. So running through from tomorrow all the way through to Saturday, we've got a whole heap of live sessions we're going to be running from different stands, and we've got a couple of extra little things we're going to be filming as well, which will release post the event. But really excited. It's been a huge thing for us to be getting ready for. I'm just checking. Did you make that as a live to everybody? Yeah, there's a couple of people joining. Hey, there you go.
I did, mate. It's all good.
I always get worried when no one's joining on. Anyway, hey, during this journey, we've got about an hour and a half or so drive to the airport. So we're going to make that trip now. And look, Jimmy's going to join us in a second. We thought, hey, why not just spend a few minutes answering your questions, telling you about what we're excited for this trip, what's going on. And if you've got any questions, happy to answer them. So, hey, Tony White. Hey, thanks for joining us. Hey, out and about with Kelly. Hey, how you going? BYP. Hey, have a good day for sure. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Hey, Russell. Nice to have you here. Definitely a different time for us to be live as well. So if you're interested in the content we've been doing, look at the schedule. We did just put up a Instagram post about the different stands and who we're going to be hanging out with. Hey, look, a real hot, cool topic. We've got some great AFL connections as well, which we might wait till Jimmy gets here and a bit more of a chat about that. But yeah, Jimmy's only just up the road. He's a couple of minutes, so we'll get him on board and yeah, start some good old chat as we drive. But yeah, we've got Ryan driving away. He'll keep his eyes on the road.
Keep your hands on the wheel, mate.
Yeah, that's it. And I guess, look, we've had a few of these moments. We've been just driving along and some really great ideas when we get together and just talk coffee. So we're pretty fond of these moments. Yeah, many a times we've been cruising along and good stuff's happened. So yeah, if you've got any questions, reach out, let us know.
Or any good ideas.
Yeah, is the show open to the public? Yes, Russell, it is. So this year they've changed the format to a better one, which is great. So the Thursday, Friday is trade, and then the Saturday is all open to the public. So that definitely allows people to get access to cool stuff. It's super cheap to come along. And you can play on really great gear. I mean, there's a full roasters alley. You can taste heaps of great coffee. You can connect with all the suppliers. If you're looking to buy a coffee machine, a grinder, or any type of accessory, they're all there. So definitely worth coming along and touching and feeling and playing all the equipment. So it's one of the trade shows that you can touch and feel, which is really great. Some places, some trade shows you go to, you can't really interact with the products, but we're hearing this year a lot of the trade stands are going to rejig their stand, flip things around a fair bit, bring all the commercial gear to the back and put that home stuff right out the front for everyone to touch and play and feel with. So we're pretty excited about those opportunities. I know we're doing some demos live on some different brands, so we'll cover that off in a mini around some more specifics. We're just about to pull into Jimmy's driveway. But a question there, hey, look, how did we all go in Coffs Harbour with the cyclone? Look, thankfully it hit into, I guess, northern New South Wales, southern Queensland. So that's about 200 odd Ks from us. We got a lot of rain, a lot of wind. There was a bit of, sort of minor flooding and things, but it was probably at the max capacity that all of the areas in the Coffs Harbour and up to the border regions could handle. I guess if it was any worse, yeah, you'd be hearing a lot more about it. But look, essentially everyone, they've had a couple of days off work, some schools closed, things like that. But thankfully, no real major issues for us. So we appreciate, everyone reaching out and hearing, I guess, what's happening locally for us at the moment. But here we go. Here we are, we're pulling up. We've got Flippy that one around. Boom, is that an Artisti van? It is. Go to a UE up the cul-de-sac. We are on time because we said we'd be 2:15. We're 2:13. I love a bit of punctuality. It's good. So yeah, thanks everyone for looking out for us for sure. Yeah, question there. I'm just going to grab Jimmy and then we're going to come back and answer a couple of those questions, especially around the decent machine. I had a good play with one of those recently, so we'll definitely get onto that one for you, and we'll talk about, oh yeah, a bit of Kopi Luwak. But let's go get Jimmy.
You can give Jimmy that one. Do you want to take the mic?
Take the mic.
Take that mic.
Boom. And I'll grab that one. Awesome. Let's go grab Jimmy. Oh, I've got a little treat for him here too. And we'll get into some chats. We've got a few people on board, mate. We've got 46 Arubas on board here right now. Say g'day to them, Jimmy.
Hey everyone. It's good to be here. It's been a quick day, but a long day getting to this point. It's exciting. So.
Oh, press the button, wasn't it?
Start.
You push the side thing. It's all good. I got in the car and I saw that and I thought, I knew I'd forget something.
He forgot his as well.
Oh really? Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
mine.
yours?
Well, Haley's got mine.
Oh, no.
Luke's gonna slide his seat forward so that I can fit my legs in here. Oh, yeah, big legs. Find my seatbelt.
Lucky we got you the exit seats, boys.
I know. I appreciate that.
I had to change the flights and hassle the lady. I said, I got these massive tall guys. We need the extra long leg room. But we've already had our little bit of joy. But here is a travelling little goodie here. We've got raspberry peanut butter and chocolate brownie. Care of Vicky Lane.
I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Right, enjoy that. Hey, shout out to Vicky Lane. That's my wife's little business of Vicky's and treats.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Road
Oh,
trip.
it's still warm.
It's still warm. It's
Yeah,
literally
straight out of the
straight out of the
Let's
oven,
go.
mate. She was cutting it up for us. The staff are going to enjoy some of that while we're, while we're travelling away.
You actually say where we're going. We've got to drive from Costa where?
Yeah, so randomly, the Coffs Harbour Airport has just gotten really expensive. You know, there's not as many people flying in and out of the area, and one of the carriers has stopped flying in. So flights are just crazy expensive, and we don't have direct flights to Melbourne. So we've got to jump in the car. We've got to drive about an hour and a half or so north to Ballina. You would probably know Byron Bay. You know, if you're not from Australia, Byron Bay is definitely well known. The airport near that is Ballina. So we can drive about an hour and a half-ish, maybe 2 hours, and then we get on a flight and we can be in Melbourne just under 2 hours. So it's so much quicker, a direct flight. We don't have to stop in Sydney and then get on to Melbourne. So we're on that leg. Making it a lot quicker and easier, and just look, far cheaper. There's no doubt about it. So it's a great option for us. Actually, my water is in that door. Can I grab that? A little parched.
Nice Pargo water bottle there, mate.
Oh yes, love the Pargo water bottle. These things are cracking. So we've got our somewhere here. We've got some Pargo coffee cups, which you'll see us use, and giving away a lot of those at Mice over this next couple of days as well. How's that brownie going,
good.
mate?
You keep talking, I'm good.
It's good. It's sticky. It's warm.
Oh yeah.
It's really tasty. All right, let's just go back for a couple of little bits here. There's a lot of questions here. Okay, so we're
Jimmy, you can get your phone open and go to YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
and then
I can
read
do
your comments and stuff.
Okay, aside, g'day Tony White. Aside from specialty coffee roasters like yourselves, are there any commercial roasteries that you'd recommend? In Australia is probably the question there that we need to look at. I don't know. Like there's, internationally you've got your Victorias, your Lavazza's, your Segafredos, all those kinds of things. They definitely suit a market in certain areas. But the trend's to be moving away from those roasters for sure, because of quality of the product and the additional services that individual roasters like us can give to cafe partners to make them thrive better and feel more supported rather than just a free piece of machine. Here's some beans and go and do your best with coffee. So yeah, I guess the specialty market's opening up that support for cafe partners to actually have a good product and maybe a little bit more say or flexibility in perhaps the offering that they want to have for their cafes. So in terms of the commercial guys, yeah, if you maybe give us some ideas where you're located, we might be able to narrow that question down for you. All right, I'm thinking of buying a decent espresso machine. Do I recommend it? BYB 965. Hey, look, I got a chance to play with one of those last year for quite an amount of time. It's a phenomenal machine. There's no doubt about it. You can do anything with a decent. And that's probably the issue with the machine. If you're not familiar with how to extract coffee properly, understanding grind sizes and recipes, that will be really quite a shock when you start to use a decent, because you're then going to add a whole range of pressure profiling and water temperature control into the mix in profiling your coffee and your extraction. And then if you start to really get into it, you have to have a very good grinder. So you can't have a entry-level coffee grinder, because you'll most likely, if you're going to follow something like Scott Rayo, who one of the well-known roasters out there and had a lot of input into the decent machine, he would start to tell you to do a 3-bar extraction for 1.5 minutes, and you've got to have a super fine coffee to do so. So yeah, they can just do a lot of stuff. They're small, neat, compact, full iPad control, but a lot of control, and you've got to understand how to drive that piece. So pretty cool.
Someone just got 80 grams of Kopi Luwak. Any brewing recommendations?
With 80 grams?
80 grams of monkey.
Yeah, monkey poop coffee. Yeah, I'd be doing some sort of pour over or something.
I imagine it's probably pretty dense.
Oh, well, it's not. It's along the Indonesian style roasting,
okay.
So it might not be as dense if it's got a high moisture content, but it's going to be super dark roasted. Yeah, I'd say if it came in a little pack from someone roasting overseas rather than an Australian or a local roaster, because they don't generally import the product green, because it's been passed through an animal. Yep. So it could be quite dark roast. Dose high. Go as far as you can, and give it a go. Yeah.
Is that an anaerobic fermentation process, because it's inside it?
It's anaerobic fermentated. It's perfectly sniffed out by the animals at the perfect right picking. I mean, that's where it all came from, right? Fermentation processes is from elephant or some other creature eating coffee.
Yep. I'll give a shout out to BYB at 965.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. They just said we've taught them a lot in our latte art tutorials, so taught them and their team. So thank you. Thanks for watching them. Glad that's helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always good to get that positive feedback.
Yeah.
Do we have any good pub recommendations on the route to the Gold Coast? It's got a mate driving from the Gold Coast, driving up to the Gold Coast and get to as many breweries as possible.
Oh, from where? Driving from Sydney?
I'm going to say south. If we're driving up to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Come on, Ryan, this is probably your wheelhouse.
Well, you got Wagga Brewery, you got King Tide.
King Tide in Coffs.
Oh yeah, I was just going to stop in
Sanctus.
Coffs. Yeah, Sanctus Brewery, King Tide in Coffs Harbour.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're chasing some breweries, you can stop at Critters Distillery.
Yeah, shout out.
Into that.
So the Critters boys are in Melbourne this weekend. So Critters Distillery are.
Are they?
Yeah, they're in Melbourne for a gin conference or like a gin expo.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So they just did a post on that today. So shout out to Critters Distillery. We might, I don't know, cross paths. We might have to go find the gin at some hour of the night.
Rose. The Archie Rose guys. We ended up last time. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's cool. That's got me thinking now.
You should know this one. Have you tried coffee in New Zealand?
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of coffee in New Zealand. Married a lovely Kiwi lady, so we go back there quite often. Predominantly in the South Island. I haven't really done a lot of North Island, so it's very well sourced. It's very well served. A lot of all-press coffee there. Essentially, all-press started in the southern parts of New Zealand as a uni coffee cart, I believe, is their story. So it's actually really good. Yeah, the Kiwis do pretty well. Their milk's different. It's really weird. They do these tiny little baggy things, and it's a bit weird. But yeah, you can get great coffee in most tourist locations in the South Island for sure. Lamazocco coffee machines are pretty much everywhere. It's very good.
My parents just went to New Zealand, gave me the report that coffee's quite good in New Zealand. A lot better than I had anticipated. So
yeah, I spent a bit of time in Queenstown. There's 2 roasters there and a couple of really nice cafes as well. So yeah.
Hamdog recommended going to the Havana Roasters in Parnell if you're there.
No idea where that is. Where's Parnell?
Never been to New Zealand myself, so.
Oh, in New Zealand. Okay, there you go.
Oh, New Zealand, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Didn't all press come out of New Zealand?
Yeah, down like they started as a coffee cart in a university.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, huge success out of a small opportunity, and I think that's what a lot of people don't realise. You got to start somewhere in the coffee industry. You never know where you're going to be. I mean, Artisti's first customer was a coffee cart at a servo.
Yeah.
So it was our coffee cart. But
Please
yeah,
obey
it's
all traffic regulations.
you can be whatever you want to be if you want to spend some time doing it. Yeah, grow from humble beginnings. I mean, I can't read that really well.
No, that's all right. We got to the bottom of the questions. If anyone does have any questions, you'll probably think of a video that we might have done. If you've got questions that you watched the video and you thought, I'd love to know more about that topic, that's probably a helpful way to ask questions. If there's certain videos that we've done and we know you've got questions about it, we can answer those.
There's a lot of chat there, but yeah, you're kind of...
Yeah, people are chatting to each other though, just kind of
How is our milk?
different compared to Aussies. They're in the UK. That question.
Oh,
I
in
believe.
the UK milk. Okay, yeah. So the thing about dairy milk, and this is really interesting about dealing with Jim. Jim's full into milk in terms of competition milk. So when you go to compete in the Australian Barista Championships,
He's a Kiwi. I got in trouble.
oh, he's a Kiwi. Oh, yeah, Kiwi. Yeah, dairy. You're-
Sorry, mate.
Okay, let's just be real. New Zealand dairy is far better than Australian dairy. It absolutely kills it.
Yeah, right.
Their milk is very different. It's super tasty, super rich. Their cheese is amazing. Creams, everything.
All right.
It's far better. But anyway, you got to combat that if you have a type of roast as well. You got to know how to cut through that high dairy and the richness of it. So, but yeah, every farm has different things. Whether they're getting a lot of rain, feeding the cows a lot of, grains and rye and whatever, all of that changes how milk tastes. So there's definitely differences between what we'd see as Melbourne milk versus our milk up here for sure. You can't get Norco milk, which is what we taste all of our coffee to and profile our roasts off. When we go down to Melbourne, they'll be using Dairy Farmers or Riverina or other ones. So if you're in a competition, you would freeze the milk you've got and take it with you around the world.
Heather, which is better for crema and great flavour in espresso grinders, flat burr or conical? Crema and flavour.
Crema and flavour. Crema, I wouldn't say one is better than the other because crema is really is an outcome of your grind size and the freshness of the roast. You should be able to get the crema either way. I've never really had a difference. Have you ever had any difference?
No,
between
not
them?
particularly. I mean, unless so when you go conical, maybe you'll get a heavier body and you tend to get like a thicker crema. Maybe that would be the variable there. Is like when you flat burr and you're getting like what am I trying to say? Going back to conical, if you're pulling more body out of a coffee because you're getting more fines through your bed of coffee, it can seem like better crema because it's kind of maybe thicker, more like not foamy, but it'll just have more TDS in it, so it'll have more coffee in it based on the fines that come through of a conical burr. So, but I don't necessarily think it's a better crema because when it comes to flavour, it's going to be dependent on the coffee.
Yeah, flavour's a huge difference when you go burr types, but yeah, in terms of crema, the only thing I can think of, and I wouldn't be able to relate it 100% to conical or flat, is sometimes when you let your crema just sit that little bit longer, sometimes it's really easy to stir back in, and other times it can be just like this thick, heavy set thing that's become a problem. Whether that's a conical or a flat burr, I wouldn't know. I couldn't ascertain that back to you, but on flavour, huge differences in conical versus flat burr for sure. Jimmy just mentioned that. More body in conical, lighter, cleaner flavours generally in flat burrs.
Hey, would you say the Linear Mini is overrated, given you cannot pressure profile? More of brand recognition. I feel it's a lot less experimental as opposed to L'Elite Bianca, for example.
Yeah, interesting. Are you the guys that have just been talking to me the last couple of days about the difference between these two machines?
Maybe.
Look, I'm heavy in this conversation at the moment, and it's a very good question. And we will be on the L'Elite stand and Baratza stand on the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as well. So we're doing lives from there. I think what it is, there's a lot of variations between a L'Elite Bianca and an E61 group and a saturated or integrated group boiler machine, which is what a Lamazocco Mini is. So it's very hard to actually compare the two because they're very different machines in how they deliver the water temperature, the stability, and how that actually applies to the coffee puck, and the control you have over that water. So to say, are they competitive? Well, not really, because an E61 group, everyone's got access to it, and you just were able to whack a paddle on the top with a variable flow control, and you've got flow control. Is it the best version of flow control? No. Is it a repeatable or precise control when you're trying to repeat shots? Not at all. So I don't think you can really compare the two. The Mini is interesting because you do have the rotary pump. Now you can, on the top there's a screw, so you could technically have a screwdriver and vary that pressure, and you'll be able to vary that more precisely. And one thing I was talking about to Byron, I want to make a little 3D printed paddle for it.
Sure.
Like just pop it on there and be able to actually have some pressure points and some markers that you can start to outline what that would be. And I wonder if that's a thing to come with the Mini, because they've never given access to the pump variation, but now you can. But how Lamazocco typically deliver pump variation of pressure to a coffee puck, in the GS3 it was a variable valve like these machines like the Bianca have, but now they've gone further to like gear pumps and accurate pressure from a gear pump. So it comes down to quality, it comes down to stability of water, it comes down to the look and the feel. You know, obviously the Lamazoccos are totally different. They're not like any other machine. So there's definitely aesthetics there as well, and build quality across the board.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, someone's wanting to get into filter, V60 or AeroPress. What would be your pick?
Filter, AeroPress or V60. They're all generally going to give you the similar result. If you just needed to buy one of those, because they're they're not like an espresso machine which is going to have an applied pressure to it. So you're going to have a similar result in flavors. I think it's more about the portability and where you're going to use that. If you're going to have a really nice bar set up at home and you've got a variable temperature kettle and you want a bit of a routine and you want to have a bit more of a like a moment, what would you call it, a coffee? Yeah, the experience. You'd go a pour over for sure. You can play with that a little bit more, have a few more variations on your recipes, and really enjoy that moment. If you're looking for any sort of portability, as well as having it as a day-to-day where you want to be rushed and a bit quicker, AeroPress every day of the week, because when we travelled around Australia, we did a lot of AeroPresses. To be honest, since coming back from our trip, I haven't really had a stable machine in our house, and definitely since before Christmas, I haven't had an espresso machine in our house. So I've got a AeroPress every morning, metal filter for my wife and I, and that's what we have with a. We are going through a bit of a dead spot. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're live again.
We're back.
Yeah, hey guys, we're just running through a couple of little black spots, unfortunately, on the highway here. So if we do cut out, we'll jump straight back in, and we'll see you all here. So yeah, we just lost a whole heap of you we can see in that viewership.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, if you're just back with us, hey, we're driving up to the airport. We've got about a 2-hour drive for us to better head to Mice. the Melbourne Coffee Expo. So we're just hanging out, using this time to answer any questions you might have. Pop them down below. We'll keep answering them. And yeah, if we're cut out, we'll jump back straight in again. So apologies, just some bad reception. I know it's going to stop any second now because this area is a bit tricky as well. There's quite a few extra questions there, Jimmy.
Yeah, do you want to answer that one? The grinder at my cafe produces a fair bit of coffee grind as chunks, and I believe this also affects the taste of the coffee. I deep clean the grinder once a week. Is there anything I can do?
Okay. Firstly, if that wasn't happening previously and now it's happening, you just need new burrs. That's going to be a first sign of burrs wearing out, and that'll change the flavour of the coffee for sure. You're going to get more heat essentially applied to the coffee, and that will make it clump worse. If you have any anti-clumping device in that grinder, go and give that a clean as well. And then, addition to that, you'd be using some sort of WDT or needling tool to help break up those clumps, because yes, they will extract very differently when you're putting that into a group handle. It'll be a very dense ball surrounded by all lighter grinds or particle sizes that are all separate, and essentially the water won't go into that ball and make it taste really bad.
If they've been cleaning the grinder, they've been sticking stuff up the chute, they want to make sure they haven't damaged the clump crusher.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so if you have a clump crusher, don't poke things backwards up through the chute. You'll wreck that for sure.
Yeah, if you want to let us know which particular grinder you've got, we might be able to advise on that.
Yeah, definitely.
I accidentally pulled a shot of espresso today before the water was completely heated. I took a sip and it was cold but surprisingly good. I like dark roasts